This is the first time that I'm speaking about it. It's something that I'll never forget.
Jamie Foxx addresses whether Diddy was responsible for his 2023 hospitalization during live shows.
The rumor hit the internet like a thunderclap, a whisper turned roar that Sean Diddy Combs had done the unthinkable. Poisoned Jamie Foxx? The claim was so wild, so outrageous, it felt like something ripped straight from the pages of a Hollywood thriller. Yet here it was, spreading like wildfire across TikTok, X, formerly Twitter, and every gossip-laden corner of the internet. By October 2024, the story was everywhere. People weren't just buzzing about it, they were dissecting it, theorizing, and, in true internet fashion, turning it into a cultural event. But how did we even get here? How did one of the most successful figures in music and a beloved, Oscar-winning actor become entangled in a scandal this bizarre?
Look, April 11th last year, bad headache. That's my boy for an Advil. I was gone for 20 days.
It all started with whispers from a Netflix comedy special. Jamie Foxx, the charming, smooth-talking star whose charisma could light up a room, had returned to the stage after an 18-year hiatus to film What Had Happened Was. The special, filmed in Atlanta over 3 nights in early October 2024, promised to be a raw and intimate look at his life, humor, and, most intriguingly, his harrowing health scare from 2023. But what no one expected was for those live tapings to spark a frenzy of speculation. According to one attendee, Fox had hinted, no, outright stated, that Sean Combs had been involved in his mysterious medical emergency. The accusation, reportedly delivered with Fox's signature blend of wit and gravity, set the internet ablaze.
He said in the special that, I was hospitalized by this person. And mind you, him and Diddy have had a business falling out. They said they had a beef. So the choke, no choke was a videographer. And he was like, yo, I was there. He said Diddy was responsible for what happened to him and that he's the one that called the FBI. And Choke added, I don't think he was joking.
This wasn't just any rumor. It was a full-blown conspiracy, complete with shadowy implications, alleged FBI involvement, and whispers of revenge. The loudest voice amplifying the claim came from videographer Arthur Alston, better known as Choke No Joke. A self-styled industry insider, Alston claimed he had been in the audience for 2 of Fox's 3 shows. He wasted no time jumping on YouTube to spill the alleged tea. Jamie straight up said it, Alston declared with palpable urgency. He said Diddy was responsible for what happened to him, and he said he's the one who called the FBI on Diddy. Alston, who had been known to court controversy with his fiery takes on the entertainment industry, insisted Fox wasn't joking. I know when someone's setting up a punchline, and this wasn't that, he said, his tone leaving no room for doubt.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't put it past somebody like Diddy, who we know the track record from his allegedly having people shot, baby oil that had freaking in it, to all the crazy stuff that's going on. This is the least of my thing. If you have a beef with somebody, then poisoning them.
But Alston wasn't the only one stirring the pot. Another attendee, a celebrity bodyguard who goes by the handle Big Homie Cece, doubled down on the claims in an interview with Cam Capone News. His recounting of Fox's words was even more dramatic. I know Diddy did something to Jamie Foxx, and Jamie Foxx reported him to the FBI because of it, he said, with the kind of certainty that could make you believe anything. Big Homie's claim carried an air of menace, as if he was revealing secrets too dangerous to stay hidden. To some, it sounded like a smoking gun. To others, it felt like a well-rehearsed performance designed to add fuel to a fire. Of course, the internet did what it does best, turning every crumb of speculation into a feast of theories. Some users on X were quick to connect the dots between Fox's allegations and Diddy's recent legal troubles. Diddy was part of an intelligence op, like Epstein, one user theorized, the comparison as chilling as it was sensational. Another chimed in, if Jamie reported him, it's over. People like Diddy are scrambling now that the truth's coming out. Even as others dismissed the claims as a marketing stunt for Fox's Netflix special, the sheer weight of public intrigue was undeniable.
Because he said it on stage.
Diddy was poisoning people?
Bro, I think there was some crazy going on.
Like Cosby like
Diddy wasn't even that big. I think it was could do it.
There's alleged a bunch of people that got pneumonia, a bunch of convenient people that.
But what exactly had happened to Jamie Foxx in 2023? That question loomed like a storm cloud over the entire spectacle. Back in April of that year, Fox's daughter, Corinne, had posted a cryptic update on Instagram, revealing that her father had suffered a medical complication and was receiving care. No details were given, no diagnosis, no explanation, just a vague reassurance that he was on the mend. For months, fans were left in the dark, piecing together clues from grainy paparazzi photos and Fox's sporadic social media posts. When Fox finally broke his silence in July, the details were scarce but haunting. In a video posted to Instagram, he described a terrifying ordeal that began with a severe headache and ended with him in the hospital for 20 days. "I went through something I thought I'd never go through," he admitted, visibly emotional. "I didn't want y'all to see me with tubes coming out of me, wondering if I'd make it." But even as Fox shared his gratitude for surviving the ordeal, he left out one crucial detail. What exactly had caused his health crisis? The absence of answers only fueled speculation. Some murmured about a stroke, others blamed a reaction to a certain medical procedure. And then came the darker whispers, the ones that pointed fingers at Sean Combs. The timing was, if nothing else, suspicious. Around the same time Fox's health was failing, Diddy's world was beginning to implode. Allegations of misconduct were piling up, lawsuits were being filed, and his once towering empire was starting to show cracks. Could there have been a connection? Was there something more sinister at play?
So I don't know if it's true. We won't know until we see the actual Jamie Foxx Netflix special, which Ari has bookmarked. He's ready to go. Yeah.
Did you see the Rosie O'Donnell like a bunch of like stuff if we're talking about it?
Yeah, she looks like Steve Bannon.
Her just making jokes over the years about Diddy and him going to
Steve
jail
Bannon.
and what he's doing wrong.
Really?
It was like Cosby. It was
Rosie
like Weinstein.
O'Donnell was joking
yeah,
about
it was
it?
like they all knew about it, but you can't quite talk about it.
The tapings of what had happened seemed to offer a tantalizing glimpse into the truth. According to multiple attendees, Fox spent a significant portion of the show addressing the rumors surrounding his health scare. One moment in particular stood out. A moment when Fox reportedly locked eyes with an audience member and said, "People keep asking me if Diddy was responsible. Well, let me tell you." The room, by all accounts, went silent. Some said Fox broke into a grin and delivered a punchline. Others swore he looked serious. The conflicting accounts only added to the mystery. And then there was Dennis L.A. White, another attendee, who had a very different interpretation. White claimed Fox went out of his way to distance Combs from his health issues, allegedly saying, "If Diddy was responsible, I'd be dead." But even this denial, if it was one, felt loaded. Did Fox mean it as a definitive rebuttal, or was it another layer of misdirection and a story growing more tangled by the minute? As the buzz around the Netflix special reached a fever pitch, the FBI rumors added an extra layer of intrigue. According to Choke No Joke and Big Homie, Fox's alleged report to the authorities was the final nail in the coffin for Diddy. The timeline was suspiciously convenient. Combs was arrested in September 2024 on charges that could end his career. And just weeks later, Fox was back in the public eye filming a comedy special that seemed to center on his alleged feud with the music mogul. Coincidence? The internet didn't think so.
The relationship Diddy had with Jamie Foxx, well, I met Jamie Foxx on the tour bus. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, we was at, oh my God, it slipped my mind where we was at. But they was on some friendship stuff.
Of course, not everyone was convinced. TMZ, the ever-reliable purveyor of celebrity news, reported that Fox's comments during the tapings were nothing more than jokes taken out of context. Snopes rated the poisoning claim as unfounded, citing a lack of credible evidence and pointing out that no reputable news outlet had corroborated the story. But the denials did little to dampen the public's appetite for scandal. If anything, they only made the story more alluring. After all, the fewer answers there were, the more room there was for imagination.
Diddy relationship, and I see what they saying about what happened, and I really want to hear the full story about what's going on with him and Diddy, and if he really said in this show that Diddy, poisoned him, or he's the reason why he got sick that night. I want to hear that.
And what about Netflix? The streaming giant has stayed silent on whether the incendiary comments will make the final cut of Fox's special set to premiere on December 10. But one thing is clear, the anticipation is through the roof. Fox himself has leaned into the hype, posting heartfelt messages on Instagram about his recovery and his return to the stage. "It was like going to church," he wrote. "We laughed, we cried, and we celebrated life." But for all his gratitude, there's still a sense that Fox is holding something back, saving the full truth for the moment it will make the biggest impact. As the days tick down to the special's release, the question remains, what really happened to Jamie Foxx? And how deep does Sean Combs' alleged involvement go? The answers might be closer than we think, or they might lead us into an even darker, more shocking chapter of this unfolding drama.
He was responsible for Diddy's day-to-day life, so he is able to provide a lot of information about what that life was like. He goes into detail on extensive use.
And if you thought the whispers about Jamie Foxx and his cryptic accusations were explosive, buckle up. Because the man on the other end of this storm, Sean Diddy Combs, isn't just a music mogul with a glittering empire. He's a figure cloaked in shadows, a man whose name has long been whispered in the darker corners of the entertainment industry. As the rumors surrounding Fox gained momentum, they collided head-on with a tidal wave of allegations, lawsuits, and shocking revelations that cast Combs in a chilling new light. This wasn't just about one man's mysterious health scare anymore. This was about a legacy of power, control, and chaos unraveling in real time. Let's start with the mood shift in Combs' once dominant empire. For years, Diddy had been untouchable, a symbol of success who had climbed from the gritty streets of Harlem to the pinnacle of music and business. But behind the glitz and the headlines, there were cracks that seemed to widen with every new accusation, every fresh piece of evidence. In late 2023, the floodgates opened when a string of lawsuits began to land on his doorstep, each one more damning than the last. These weren't just disgruntled former employees or anonymous troublemakers looking for a payout. These were detailed, horrific allegations from people who had known him, worked with him, or more disturbingly, claimed to have been trapped in his orbit.
A former assistant to Sean Diddy Combs speaking out in the new interview with new allegations about wild parties and
One of the most shocking claims to emerge was the so-called freak-offs. Even the name sounds like something out of a tabloid fever dream, but the details are far worse. These alleged events, described in both civil suits and federal indictment documents, were said to be wild, unrestrained gatherings where power dynamics were blurred, boundaries were crossed, and the people involved often left scarred. Emotionally, mentally, and sometimes physically, the accusations painted Combs not as a bystander but as the orchestrator, a man who allegedly manipulated and coerced those around him to partake in these chaotic sessions. Witnesses claimed it was all meticulously planned, with entire teams dedicated to facilitating these gatherings, ensuring everyone played their part, and most chillingly, keeping it all quiet. The FBI's later raids on his sprawling homes in Los Angeles and Miami only added fuel to the fire. Agents reportedly uncovered rooms stocked with items that seemed less like party supplies and more like evidence of something far more sinister. And yet, for all the spectacle surrounding the raids, Combs remained defiant, continuing to deny every allegation, every claim, as his legal team scrambled to manage the fallout. But while Combs was busy trying to protect his empire, the stories kept coming, and they weren't just allegations anymore. They were accusations, backed by chilling evidence, with receipts so detailed they made your stomach turn.
Did Phil explain why he's speaking out now?
He said he's speaking out because he believes Diddy's a predator. He wants accountability, and he doesn't want someone like this to run unchecked in the future.
Take, for example, the explosive lawsuit filed by Cassie Ventura, Combs' former partner and a key figure in his life for more than a decade. Cassie's suit wasn't just a single accusation. It was a gut-wrenching account of years spent under the thumb of a man she described as controlling and abusive. The surveillance video that later surfaced, showing Combs chasing her through a hotel hallway and assaulting her, was damning enough, but it was the details of her lawsuit that sent shockwaves through the industry. The allegations of manipulation, coercion, and systematic control painted a picture of someone who wielded his power not just as a business tool, but as a weapon. And while Combs settled the case almost immediately, the damage was done. That video, now etched into the public's memory, told a story no amount of legal maneuvering could erase. But Cassie's case was just the tip of the iceberg. As 2024 rolled in, more voices joined the chorus, each one echoing a similar tale of power abused and lives disrupted. A former producer, Rodney Lil Rod Jones, took things a step further, alleging that Combs wasn't just an individual acting out of control, but the head of an organized network, a criminal enterprise built on manipulation and intimidation. Jones' claims were particularly chilling because they didn't just focus on what had been done to him. They described an entire system, from the people paid to carry out Combs' orders to the financial incentives offered to keep everyone in line. And then there were the recordings, hours of footage Jones claimed to have, documenting everything from inappropriate behavior to moments that might make even the most hardened legal teams wince.
You know, there's a short life in
Why do you think that is, what the creative side is?
Well, because losing out money, you got to take you're going through so much to try and deal with life.
As the lawsuits piled up, so did the details, each one more shocking than the last. Former employees described working conditions that went beyond toxic, with Combs allegedly flying into rages, making threats, and bending people to his will. One particularly chilling account came from a former security guard who described being tasked with ensuring no one could ever leak information about what went on behind closed doors. The implication was clear. Diddy's world was one of absolute control, where loyalty wasn't just expected, it was demanded, and the consequences for stepping out of line were severe. And then there was the federal indictment. If the lawsuits had painted Combs as a man out of control, the criminal charges framed him as something even darker: racketeering, coercion, and transportation for illicit purposes. These weren't just allegations anymore. These were crimes, laid out in stark detail by federal prosecutors who accused Combs of using his influence and resources to create an environment where rules didn't apply. The documents described a man who saw himself as untouchable, someone who could allegedly exploit his power without fear of consequence. And while his legal team continued to insist on his innocence, the weight of the evidence was mounting.
Card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying.
But perhaps the most unsettling aspect of this entire saga is the sense that we might still be scratching the surface. For every accusation that's come to light, there are whispers of more stories, more victims, more details waiting to emerge. The question isn't just whether Sean Combs will face justice. It's whether the full extent of his alleged actions will ever truly come to light. And with Jamie Foxx's Netflix special looming on the horizon, promising to reveal his side of the story, one thing is certain: this scandal is far from over. So what do you think? Are we looking at a case of shocking truth coming to light? Or is this just another Hollywood power play gone wrong? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's unpack this madness together. Until next time, stay tuned because this story is only getting darker.